ना 30 seconds का forwarding state आने में
So you
time
are
wastage
saying the
होता है
issues
basically.
in CST is timer.
Correct. You can say.
In CST, he is saying issue is timer. Is it true?
Means topology change. It takes time in changing the
Yeah,
topology.
yeah. Timer means the convergence time. Whenever
Correct.
change will occur, our topology is STP is going to reconverge the topology. That is the issue. Minimum time required in CST is 30 seconds to convert topology. Any other issue? And anyone who is not clear with this issue? The timer issue in CST common spanning tree protocol? Hope it is clear, right? Okay, skin is not visible.
नहीं.
Can
Yeah.
you please record the session?
Yes, recording is on.
Okay, thank you.
I am asking the issues of CST protocol, common spanning tree protocol. One issue is timer. That Rahul is saying that CST takes much time to reconverge the topology. Minimum 30 seconds is required. Another issue,
So single instance for all VLAN.
note load balancing is possible. Load balancing is not possible. Correct? Then we come up with which protocol? PVST or
PVST.
PVST plus. The PVST is solving which problem?
So load balancing.
Load balancing, right? So what is the issue in PVST?
Disadvantage
Timer?
is yeah.
Timer issue. And the another issue of PVST is high
Overhead
CPU,
CPU.
because it is going to maintain one instance for one VLAN. So if we have 100 number of VLAN on the switch, that means PVST is going to generate 100 number of BPDU after every 2 seconds. Encapsulation, decapsulation, you can think, right?
Yes.
For each VLAN, it will be generating one BPDU after every 2 seconds. So there are two issues in PVST plus. Timer issue. Whenever change will occur, user cannot communicate for minimum 30 seconds. Right? There is outage of 50 seconds also. Am I right?
Correct.
But minimum 30 seconds. Then we come up with which protocol?
RSTP.
RSTP. RSTP is solving which problem?
So the timer problem basically topology change.
Very good. RSTP is going to solve the timer issue. But what is the issue here?
Load balancing is not happening. over
Load
here.
balancing is not possible. So again, we come up with which protocol?
MST.
RPVST.
RPVST. This protocol is solving which problem?
Load balancing.
Load balancing. So what is the issue in RPVST? Only high CPU, right?
Yes.
So now we have only one issue, that is high CPU. We need one protocol which can solve this issue as well. And then MST comes in picture. That means it is very clear that MST is going to solve this issue which is in RPVST. Otherwise RPVST is good, we can use it. But it is maintaining per VLAN instances. Per VLAN instances. So that's why we come up with MST protocol. Good thing about MST is, you know, we can create instances according to our requirement. First of all, by default, there is getting noise, guys. By default, MST is equal to CST, common spanning tree protocol. By default, there is no any difference between MST and CST. Not CST, we can say RSTP. Both are same. By default, MST and RSTP are same protocol. But the good thing is, according to our requirement, we can create the instances. By default, only one instance exists on the switch, which is instance 0. Instance 0. And all the VLANs are mapped in this instance 124094. All the VLANs are mapped in this instance. But here we can
So then it
create
is
the
similar
instance.
to CST, right?
Right, CST. But here the timer issue is also solved. So that's why I'm saying it will not behave like CST. It will behave like RSTP. The timer of MST is exactly like RSTP. Okay, so that is the difference here. Topology will converge quickly. And according to our requirement, we can create instances. For an example, instance 1 and instance 2. I am going to map VLAN 1 to, let's say, 5, 1 to 5 in instance 1 and 6 to 10 in instance 2. So automatically these VLAN 1 to 10 will unmapped from this range. Now in this range we will have VLAN 11 to 4094. And we can configure priority 0 for this instance on switch number 1, priority 0 for this instance on switch number 2. So we can achieve load balancing as well. And how many instances are there? Only 2. So the high CPU utilization issue is solved here, yes or no? Am I right? And
So how it is solved? Can you
because
explain?
earlier for VLAN 1 to 10, RPVST is going to generate 10 number of instances, but MST is going to generate only 2 instances. For the same task only we were using RPVST for achieving load balancing. Like for VLAN 1 to 5, switch 1 should be my root bridge, and for next some VLANs, switch 2 should be my root bridge. That was our requirement. That's why we had come up with PVST or RPVST. But there was high
Correct.
CPU because it was generating instances per VLAN. But here MST is solving this issue. On the MST, it will only generate 2 BPDU. It will only maintain 2 BPDU. And another good thing about MST is MST is going to send only 1 BPDU for all the instances. Definitely it will have 2 instances in the STP database, but it is going to send only 1 BPDU. So high CPU
Per
utilization
instance. Per instance it
per
will send, sir.
instance, yes. But the instance is not per VLAN. The instance is range of VLAN. One
Per instance we
instance,
can say.
per instance we can have range of VLAN, which is not possible in
Correct.
RPVST. In RPVST we have instances per VLAN, like 100 VLAN. For 100 VLANs we have 100 BPDU, 100 instances. Here in a single instance we can map multiple VLAN, which is not possible in CST, PVST, RPVST or RPVST. Instance means what? STP database. STP BPDU you can say. Right? So clear? Is it clear? Which problem MST is solving and why we should use MST protocol? We have seen MST is so good protocol. Then why most of the time we are using RPVST only or RSTP only? Lack of knowledge. Right? Many people knows RSTP but they don't know MST protocol. So if you can manage it, configure it, then you should use MST. It is much better than any types of STP protocol, spanning tree protocol. Right? It is fast as RSTP and it maintains instances for range of VLAN according to my requirement. For an example, if I will give you one example here, let's say I have two switch 1 and switch 2. Two links are there. Two links. Switch 1 switch. Here we have some VLANs. Let's say VLAN 1 to 10 or 1 to 100. VLAN 1 to 100. And here are some users. Right, let's say this user is in VLAN 10, this user is in VLAN 100, VLAN 10 and VLAN 100. Like this we can have user in all the VLANs. Right, let's say switch 1 is my root bridge. Here for the load balancing I can use RPVST also. So let's say this is my root bridge for VLAN 1 to 50, and this switch is root bridge for VLAN 51 to 100. So here how many loop free topology I can have? I can have 2 loop free topology. One for VLAN 1 to 50 and one for VLAN 51 to 100. Like this. Right, let's say this is 0/0, this is 0/1. Right, so here this is, let's say, RP for VLAN 1 to 50, and this port is the RP alternate port for VLAN 1 to 50, and for VLAN 51 to 100, this port is the alternate port and this port is the RP. Right, so 2 loop free topologies. Here it is using 0/0, here it is 0/1. Correct?
Correct.
This way we can achieve load balancing, but switches will be sending BPDU 100 number of BPDU from both the link. Yes or no? If you will check the STP database, you will have 100 number of instances. That is the issue only. That is only high CPU utilization or more resources allocation to the STP protocol. So we can replace this protocol with MST here to avoid the high CPU utilization. Instead of creating 50 instances here, instead of creating 100 instances, STP instances, we can create 2. Instance 1 and instance 2. For instance 1, switch 1 can be my root bridge. For instance 2, switch 2 can be my root bridge. And then we can manipulate the path. Yes or no, guys?
Sorry, last roll apart, but please explain it again.
What I am saying here, both the switches are going to, in the RPVST, both the switches are going to generate 100 number of instances, right? This is clear? In RPVST or PVST. In PVST plus or RPVST, it is going to generate 100 number of instances. If you will check STP database, you will have 100 number of instances. And you know, root bridge switch configuration BPDU after 2 seconds. So it will be sending all 100 BPDU from their interfaces. BPDU for VLAN 1, BPDU for VLAN 2, BPDU for VLAN 3, like that. Am I right?
Correct.
So here we will have unnecessary, lots of unnecessary traffic on the link. Switches will be performing encapsulation, decapsulation, lots of encapsulation, decapsulation. And you know, whenever switch perform encapsulation, decapsulation, they use their CPU. Right? So this is the issue. To fix this issue, we come up with MST protocol. How MST is going to fix the issue? MST is saying, instead of running per VLAN instances, let's run the instance for range of VLAN. right? Means we can create two instance here, instance 1 and instance 2, and in instance 1 we can map VLAN 1 to 50. So for VLAN 1 to 50 it is going to maintain only one instance, and for 51 to 100 it is going
100.
to maintain another instance. So this time switch is only maintaining two instances. Okay,
So it will be sending only two BPDUs, you are saying?
so it should send two BPDU, but the another good thing about MST is MST sends single BPDU for all the instances. Even if you have 100 number of instances, it is going to include all the instances in single BPDU.
Okay.
Here, so tell me, is there any issue in MST protocol? Are you able to see any issue in MST? No, because we already solved many issues in RSTP, then in PVST, but at the end we had issue with high CPU and load balancing. In RSTP we cannot achieve load balancing, so MST is allowing you to configure load balancing as well, and this is open standard. You can run it on Cisco devices as well as on non-Cisco devices, right? The problem of RSTP is also solving, and it is also solving the problem of RPVST. So now all the problems are solved here in the MST protocol. 1 minute. Any question?
Hi, please can you show how RSTP did not it does not solve the load balancing issue?
RSTP maintains single instance for all the VLAN. So in single VLAN, single instances we can have only one root bridge. That means you did not understand the CST protocol, bro. Common spanning tree protocol. Are you joining for the first time here? Hello?
No, I mean the RSTP.
You know CST protocol? Common
Yes.
spanning tree? Can common spanning tree protocol perform load balancing?
No.
Why?
Um.
Then bro,
So
why
because
are you asking that like RSTP, how RSTP cannot perform load balancing? You should ask how CST cannot perform load balancing. I mean, you did not understood the CST protocol, common spanning tree. Yes?
okay, yes.
Because CST maintain only single instance for all the VLAN. Even if I have 100 number of VLAN, it is going to maintain only one instance, right? So for that instance, only one switch can be root bridge, either switch 1 or switch 2. So we can have only one loop free topology. For the load balancing, we need more than one loop free topology, which is not possible for single instance. For that, we need multiple instances. Yes, any other question? All clear?
सर मेरा एक डाउट है सर, हम जब VLAN 10 को रूट प्राइमरी करते हैं देन VLAN 20 को सेकेंडरी करते हैं, उसके बाद भी अगर उसी स्विच पे हम देन VLAN 30 को रूट प्राइमरी करें, देन क्या होगा सर? 10 हट जाएगा
नहीं, दोनों विलन के लिए वो रूट ब्रिज रहेगा।
दोनों VLAN के लिए।
हाँ,
ओके सर।
रहेगा क्यों?
जी सर।
What I am saying, let's say this is my real time scenario. I have 4 switches. One switch 3 and switch 4. Let's say this is my real time network, the production. All the switches are connected like this. So many links are there between switches, 2 links maybe. Or let's say, let's make it easy. Let's say this is my topology. Only one link is there between switch 1, switch 2, switch 3 and switch 4. The link between switches are trunk. Will carry traffic of all the VLANs. Okay. Here I have some user. All the switches, I have some switches here. Can be users, servers, any and devices. Let's say this is 10 and 20, also in VLAN 10, also in VLAN 20, 30, or let's say 50. Like this, we have users in multiple VLANs. Right? MAC address of switch 1 is, let's say 0A, MAC address of switch 2 is 0, MAC address of switch 3 is 0C, and MAC address of switch 4, this is 4 is 0. Correct? So which switch will become root bridge in case of ST or RST? How many switch will become
one,
root
sir.
bridge? How
Single
many?
switch.
Single switch will become root bridge. Which switch will
Yes.
become root bridge?
Switch one.
Switch 1.
Switch 1 will be my root bridge. DP. This port will also become DP. This port will become RP. This port will become RP. This port will become RP. This port will become alternate. Am I right?
Yes.
This will be my loop free topology. If VLAN 10 user want to communicate with this user, how they will communicate? They will communicate like this. If this user and this user want to communicate, how they will communicate? They will communicate like this. So it is using longest path. Am I right?
Correct.
I am using longest path. Maybe user can get delay.
Latency.
Because like this, we can have more longest path as well if we have multiple switches. Yes or no?
Yes.
So I will always want that VLAN 50 and 60 users should communicate by using this path, and these users should communicate by using this path in the production. Yes or no? In case of failure, if this link will goes down, then all the devices should communicate like this only. There is only one path now. Then there is no choice. But if all the links are up, means by default, I want to utilize all the links. In the CST or RSTP, we will have some links will have lots of traffic, overutilization, some links will not have any traffic, underutilization, right? So that's why I want to distribute the traffic on all the links. There are multiple benefits Others are using shortest path. That is also one advantage. But that is not possible in case of CST or RSTP, yes or no? Because here if I have VLAN 1 to 100 for all the VLANs, which one is going to be my root bridge? Is it possible to configure switch 2 as root bridge for VLAN 20? Not possible, right? So that's why we come up with now another protocol. Which protocol? PVST and RPVST. And RPVST. In this case, we can have multiple loop-free topology because switches are going to maintain per VLAN instances, right? So we have VLAN 1 to 100, means we will have 100 number of instances. Switch 1 can be my root bridge for VLAN 1 to 50 or 49. Switch 3 can be my root bridge for rest all the VLANs. That means we can have one loop-free topology for one particular VLAN. But I want what? My requirement is for VLAN 1 to 49, this switch should be my root bridge. I need one loop free topology for VLAN 41 to 49, and I need one another path for VLAN 50 to 60. I can do it with the help of PVST or RPVST, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
But
Yes.
issue is what? Switches are maintaining 100 number of instances. Switches are maintaining 100 number of instances. For VLAN 1 to 49 instances will be shared by switch 1 after every 2 seconds. And 50 to 60 to 100, not 60. 50 to 100 for VLAN 50 to 100, switch 2 pending configuration after every. Now we have another issue of CPU. Then question is how to achieve load balancing. Then MST. In MST, you can create instance according to your requirement. You can create one instance and then you can map range of VLAN here to reduce the CPU. And the another issue was of timer. So it is solving the timer issue also. By the way, RSTP is solving the timer issue. And the same mechanism, proposal and agreement, is used by MST also for faster convergence. Now we'll see the configuration if the theory part is clear. Turn on.
Sir, for the root bridge part for VLAN, you can say, load sharing.
Voice is not clear.
Now is it clear?
It's better, but
Is
still
it,
low.
is it now clear?
Yeah, now it's very clear.
Okay. So, sir, for load balancing in RSTP and PVST and RPVST, we have not performed that lab as well.
PST and RPVST lab.
हम्म हमारा पेंडिंग ही चल रहा है सर लैब स्पेनिंग का
PVST का लैब हमने देखे थे पर VLAN स्पैनिंग ट्री का लैब.
सर आपने किया था लेकिन आपने सर रिकॉर्ड नहीं किया था, वो पार्ट कट गया था.
ठीक है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. My screen visible? So here with the help of PVST or RPVST, I can create two loop-free topology. Okay, let's say PC1 is in VLAN 10. Okay, what I am saying, this and 10. Is our config trunk in 10. So through PVST here I can have two, one. What I want, VLAN 10 user should communicate by using link or /G. /1. Then 20. Then 20 users will communicate by using which link? 0/1. And VLAN 10 users will communicate by using which link? 0/0. Means we will have traffic on both the. Let me access the switch. By default, you can see enable and show VLAN brief. Okay, only one VLAN is here and all the ports are member of that VLAN. So interface trunk. One trunk is not there. Let me configure the switch interface range 0/0 and E0/1 switch port mode trunk. Sorry, switch port trunk encapsulation.1q and switch port mode trunk interface E0/2 switch port mode access and switch port access VLAN 10. Then 10 is not there, but it is getting interface E0/3 switch port mode access and switch port access VLAN 20. Okay, by default spanning tree mode is do show spanning tree summary PST,
PVST.
right? So that means it is maintaining instances for all the VLANs. So spanning tree. So spanning tree. You can see STP instance for which VLAN? VLAN 1. STP instance for which VLAN? VLAN 10. And STP instance for which VLAN? VLAN 20. And for all the VLANs, you can see the priority MAC address. Like this also you can check. So spanning tree VLAN 10. So it will show me VLAN 10 instance only. Then we can say VLAN 20. We can say VLAN 1. Who is not there? VLAN 1. Like this also we can check. So by default even PVST is running on switches. On switch number 2 also let me configure it. Well, config T so interface trunk. So the trunk is configured. Negotiation you can see interface E0/2 switch port mode access and switch port access VLAN 10 exit interface E0/3 port mode access switch port access VLAN Done. And do so spanning tree. Here also you can see for all the VLAN we have STP instance. Now let me check which switch is the root bridge. Which one? Let me take you to switch 1 first. Which one? Do so a spanning tree for VLAN 1. 1. This switch is the root bridge for VLAN 1, and their both ports are DP. For VLAN 10 also you can see this switch is the root bridge and their all interfaces are DP. For VLAN 20 also you can see this switch is the root bridge and their all ports are DP.
DP.
Okay. On switch number 2, so a spanning tree. So a spanning tree for VLAN 1. For VLAN 1 you can see this switch is the not the root bridge and RP is 0/0. 0/0 port is the RP port. 0/0. You know how it is going to select RP. For
Select.
VLAN 10 also you can see 0/0 is RP. For VLAN 20 also you can see 0/0 is my RP. And 0/1 is alternate for VLAN 20 also, for VLAN 10 also, and for VLAN 1 also. Means how many loop free topology I have? Only one. Which loop free topology? This one, the first one, for both the VLAN. But I want this for VLAN 10 only, not for 20. This should be my loop free topology for VLAN. But I want to use another topology also. What I can do here, guys? I can increase some cost on 0/0 interface for VLAN 20. Automatically this interface will become RP for VLAN 20. Yes or no? Yes. By default, cost is same for both the VLANs. But I want to utilize both the link. So I can increase some cost on interface 0/1. I can say a spanning tree cost. By default cost is 100. Not on 0/1. On 0/0 I am going to interface is 0/0. A spanning tree for VLAN 20 and cost. I am going to configure here 1110. Right, and now do so a spanning tree VLAN 10. For VLAN 10, which port is the RP? 0/0. Now let me show you VLAN 20. For VLAN 20, 0/0 is alternate port. 0/1 is the RP port. So now I have two loop free topology. Yes or no? One for VLAN 10, one for VLAN 20.
20.
But issue is, guys, for all the VLAN, even I don't have user in VLAN 1, then also this switch is maintaining instance for VLAN 1. So for all the VLAN, it will have instances, transmitting that instances.
I see.
Another thing which you can do is you can make switch 2 as a root bridge as well for VLAN 20. Then I will have two root bridge. I can say a spanning tree for VLAN 20 root priority 0 primary. Now do so a spanning tree for VLAN 10. For VLAN 10, this switch is not root bridge. 0/0 is the RP. But for VLAN 20, this switch is the root bridge. There all ports are. Getting my point?
So, can you show the command again?
Command is this one.
Okay.
Clear? This is the lab of PVST, and the lab of RSTP is going to be also exactly same. You can change the priority. on one
So,
switch, on one port for a particular VLAN. Yes.
so if we have four VLANs, 10, 20, 30, 40, so we can make two VLANs for one root bridge, right?
If you have 4 link, you can utilize all the 4 links. If you have 4 link between the switches, you can utilize all the 4 links. On one link, cost is going to be lower for VLAN 1. On second link cost is going to be lower for VLAN 2. On third link, cost is going to be lower for VLAN 3, and on fourth, cost is going to be lower for VLAN 4. So we can utilize, we can create as much as loop free topology. How much? As number of VLAN is exist on the switch.
When there will be ether channel, how it will be managing it?
So we'll see the ether channel. Then there will be then load balancing is not possible there. Then ether channel is going to provide load balancing.
Okay.
STP will work on logical interface, not on physical interface in that. STP will work on port channel, the logical single interface. So in that case, how you can achieve load? If we have only single link between switch 1 and switch 2, can we configure load balancing there?
No.
If we have only single physical topology, then I cannot create two loops.
And if we can create multiple ether channels?
Then again you can achieve load balancing
Okay.
between multiple port channel. Right? If we have two ether channel between the switches, then again I can achieve load balancing, STP. Because STP will work, when by default STP will allow only one port channel in forwarding state. One will be in blocking. So on one port channel we can increase the cost for a particular VLAN. Now I am going to
Can you show
configure
us the priority thing?
what?
In RPVST, manipulation of in RPVST by increasing the priority for particular VLAN. So
Can
you were
increase
saying
the
now priority. Basically, I want to see the command.
command is same. The only thing is switch port mode RSTP. That's it. To show a spanning tree for VLAN 20, which is the root bridge. Command is same command.
Okay. But now over here in this case, it is behaving because of this root primary command, right?
Yes. I said no for the spanning tree. This spanning tree means for all types of spanning tree.
Okay. Okay.
Right? Now if you don't have any question, then I will configure MST now.
Yeah, sure.
So now I'm going to change the protocol here from PVST to MST. Spanning tree mode MST. Number 2 also I'm going to say spanning tree mode. Spanning tree mode. Now first of all here see on switch number 1 I want to show you something. So spanning tree MST configuration. See, this is MST instance. By default MST instance. How many instances there? Only one. Which instance? Instance number 0. And all the VLANs are mapped in this VLAN. What is the name of this instance? Null. What is the revision number? 0. Right? And how many instances are configured over here? Only one. Which instance? Instance 0. And mapped VLAN? All the VLAN. Right? On switch number 2 also. So spanning tree MST configuration. We have one instance with name null, instance number 0, and all the VLANs are mapped into that VLAN, that instance. That's why I told you by default MST and PST or RSTP are exactly same. By default, we cannot achieve load balancing, right? So a spanning tree. Which port is the RP port? 0/0 for single instance. For which instance? MST instance. So you can see for all the VLAN, even here I have so VLAN brief VLAN 1, 10, 20, but we have single instance number 0. This switch is not the root bridge for this instance. You can see root bridge ID and bridge ID are different. This is the root bridge ID and this is the bridge ID. So their MAC address is different. And for all the VLANs, this switch, this port 0/0 is the RP port, forwarding state. On switch number 1, if I am going to run this command, so spanning tree. So what it's saying, this switch is the root bridge. This switch is the root bridge for which instance? For instance 0, which is the default instance. Question is how we can achieve load balancing here. So very simply we can create the instance. For an example, I am going to create one instance here, MS spanning tree, MST configuration, and I am going to say instance 1, let's say. Then VLAN, mapped VLAN. So for an example, I am going to map VLAN 1 to 10 here in this instance. You can configure name and those all things also, let's say, right, and do so spanning tree MST configuration. Now MST configuration. Now you can see two instances are there and VLAN 1 to 10 are already unmapped from instance number 0. It have removed VLAN 1 to 10 from instance 0. Now VLAN 1 to 10 is in which instance? In instance number 1. Similarly, I can create one more instance here. Spanning tree, MST configuration, then instance 2 and VLAN 11 to 20, let's say. 11 to 20, let's say. And again, so spanning tree MST configuration. Now you can see we have three instances. Instance 0, instance 1 and instance 2. In instance 1 we have VLAN from 1 to 10. In instance 2 I have VLAN from 11 to 20. On switch number 2 also I can do same thing. Config tree, spanning tree, MST configuration. Instance 1 and VLAN 1 to 10. The name of this instance was what, guys? So
CCNP
capital.
हाँ सर, ऊपर आ रहा होगा सर, इसी में नाम हो रहा, ऊपर आ रहा है, इंस्टेंस का नाम आ रहा है सर, फर्स्ट वाले का. यस,
हो जाएगा ना, तो फिर याद रखिए. MST works on reason. That is not our syllabus, and even we are not using that concept. But name should be same. That you need to mind. This is MST intra region. We have concept of MST inter region as well. So like name, revision number, these are the MST attributes. If the attributes are same, that means two switches belongs to same domain. That is called intra domain. If the attributes are different, name is different, revision number is different, or hash value is different, then inter MST domain. So we have concept of that also, but we don't need to learn it. For now, just keep in mind name should be, if you are configuring the name, then name should be same. Otherwise you can ignore it. Then I am going to create one more instance here. Sorry. Instance 2 and VLAN 2. So spanning tree, MST configuration, right? So VLAN 1 to 20 are unmapped from instance number 0. But show a spanning tree VLAN 1. 0/0 is the RP port. 4 VLAN 10. Also 0/0 is the RP port, and for VLAN 20 also 0/0 is the RP port. So right now we are not achieving load balancing for all the VLAN. We have single RP. And so a spanning tree, in a spanning tree you can see how many instances are there. There are 3 instances,
3.
right? Not per VLAN instance. This is not per VLAN instance. This is per instances for range of VLAN.
For range of VLAN, you can say here.
Now if you want to achieve load balancing here, again you can configure switch 2 as a root bridge 4 instance 1. That means it will become root bridge 4 VLAN 11 to 20. Config tree, spanning tree, MST configuration. Then we can say what? Once, 2,
अच्छा
spanning
गूगल पे देख लेते हैं.
MST, hello time, forward delay time as well. Spanning tree, okay, priority, here it is, priority 0. This is the command. Or on the interface also we can try to run the command interface /0 spanning tree MST spanning tree MST
Instance.
cost 1. Now so a spanning tree for VLAN 1 /0 is the RP, for VLAN 10 /0 is the RP, but for VLAN 20 /0 is the RP on.
So spec cost और लगी है 1110. So lower cost should be preferred, right?
Okay, MST uses long cost, right? Interface.
तो इंटरफेस में रन में चले जाइए, वहां से हटा दीजिए, बाय डिफॉल्ट वाली आ जाएगी.
First, I am going to configure cost more value. So a spanning tree for VLAN 10 /RP, 20 /1 is the, how many loop free topology I have? Convergence is
2.
fast? Yes. Is it storing per VLAN instances? No.
No.
Right, so everything is solved here. Now I have 2 loop free topology and all the things are working fine. If VLAN 10 users are going to communicate, they will use lower link IP 10.1.1.1 as 24.
अच्छा, इसमें राउटर यूज कर रखे हैं आपने.
Figure here. Enable so IP face. Okay. 2 so span face 10.2 very good. IP is already configured. So if I am going to send traffic from PC1 to PC2, on which link switch 2 will receive the traffic? Or we can see verify multiple things. To verify the link that for VLAN 10 users, which link will be used? What I can do? Here I can ping first 10.1.1.2, verify the connectivity, ping is working. Now I can check MAC address, so interface 0/F0/0 root. I can find the MAC address and then I can check the MAC address table. Go to switch 2
Switch.
and so MAC address table address. So on which interface it is learning the MAC address?
0/0.
On the right interface, right? That means it is
Yes.
using lower link. If VLAN 30 user, sorry, VLAN 20 users are going to communicate, means PC3, PC4, ping 20.1.1.2.
2.
This ping is also working, so IP interface, sorry, so interface F0/0 include. This is the MAC address of this PC. Copy it, again go to switch number 2 and run this command. 0/1. Right. So switch 2 is learning MAC address of PC1 on 0/0 interface and MAC address of PC3 on 0/1 interface. Because PC1 is in VLAN 10, PC10. Another thing which you can verify is on the switch you can check traffic. Like so, interface 0/0 root packet
So rate, you can say. Rate. Pipe include rate.
it's on 0/0 total received packet is 1814. From PC1 I can send 10,000 ICMP packet. So you can see the packet is in over here on this port, right? If I will show you on 0/1 port, it is getting any traffic, not much, but on 0/0 you can see 64, then 1405, then 2449. So like this also you can verify the link, that which link is utilizing. For VLAN 10 we are utilizing with. On switch number 1 we can check packet output instead of input. On switch number 1, on any switch we can verify it, the path. If I want to verify it on switch number 1, then I will check output or the traffic which is coming from PC. So 0/0 packet four to 5 around same packet. Request and replies. Working. Traffic quantization. Okay. Here. Or if you want to make switch 2 as a root bridge for VLAN 20, spanning tree, MST, instance 2, IT. For instance 2, I have configured. So a spanning tree for VLAN 10. For VLAN 10, this switch is not the root bridge. Here 0/0 is RP. But for VLAN 20, this switch is the root bridge. All ports are DP. So you can manipulate the path. You can path. And VLAN 1 to 20. So VLAN, you can see we have lots of VLANs here. But if I will show you the STP instance, so as spanning tree, we have only 3 instances. Right? Here.
We have done this manipulation by cost, right?
Yes. First we do manipulation by changing the cost on port, the path cost, and then we change the root cost, root bridge priorities.
Okay. And this we could have done for any instance. We could have done backup switch to as primary for any instance, right?
No instance 2.
That would have.
For instance 10, this is not root.
नहीं कर सकते थे पाथ मैनिपुलेशन के लिए
हाँ
हम
कर सकते.
Sir, how we will identify one link is highly utilized? Any packet limits are there?
Yes, you can see the utilization show interface. सर शो इंटरफेस करके दिखा दीजिए सर एक बार मेरे
आपको
को
लिंक को
E0
मॉनिटर
से
करना
0
पड़ेगा उसके लिए. तो
नहीं वहां
इंटरफेस
भी दिखा देगा सर
स्लैश
0/0 सर यहाँ दिखा देगा आपका एक बार पूरा ओपन
लोड
करेंगे
वगैरह तो
तो
दिखा ही रहा है
हाँ
ना.
हाँ लोड सर फुल आ जाएगा 255/255 RX लोड TX लोड यू कैन मार्क इट ऊपर चला गया
ये तो रहा.
नहीं यहाँ पे नहीं सर थोड़ा सा ऊपर करिए एक बार स्क्रीन को हाँ ये रहा TX load yes bro this would tell you 255/255 and in TX and RX would be highly utilized सर एक बार ट्रैफिक भी रन करके दिखा दीजिए पीसी से कि ये बढ़ता है कि नहीं
यहाँ पे शायद ना.
दूसरे वाले का दिखा दीजिए 0/1 का दिखा दीजिए
इतना लोड नहीं रहता.
सर सर रियल टाइम में तो बढ़ता है सर
रियल टाइम में तो बढ़ेगा ही. रियल टाइम का
हम्म,
ट्रैफिक भी अलग होता है. बहुत छोटा साइज एक बार बढ़ा के.
हाँ सर डीफ्रैगमेंट करके कर लीजिए सर वो साइज थोड़ा ज्यादा ही बड़ा हो गया सर MTU इसमें वो सेट है ना 1500 तो आई थिंक उससे बड़ा लेगा भी नहीं है 1500 ही करिए इसमें सर फ्रेगमेंटेशन तो बाय डिफॉल्ट ऑन रहता है राइट हाँ करेक्ट नाउ यू कैन शो अस सर वहाँ पे आया था ऊपर सर एरर भी आया था सर आप देखेंगे तो जब हम 1800 MT लिया ना इसी स्क्रीन पे उसी स्क्रीन पे सर, स्विच की स्क्रीन पे थोड़ा सा ऊपर जाइए, एरर आया था सर, ये देखिए इंटरफेस दिस आउटपुट पैकेट साइजेस ऑफ 1518
वो तो
बट
ड्रॉप कर रहा था उसका, उसके लिए लॉग है, ये ड्रॉप कर दिया ना, MTU बड़ा साइज का पेस
IPMTU इसमें इसमें सर आई थिंक L3 पोर्ट बनाओगे तब चलेगा ये वाला, नॉर्मल MTU चलाइए सर, L2 में नॉर्मल MTU चलाइए, MTU 2000 यस डज नॉट सपोर्ट
है, कोई बात। So this
So
is
sir,
how MST protocol, yeah.
and root bridge we can make as primary and secondary as well as, right?
yes, per instance we can make it.
If
So I'm going
switch
to,
one, if switch one fail, means switch two will take over, right?
yeah, definitely.
And whenever switch one come, it will back
Yes,
that time
yes.
preemption will be by default it is on, or we need to do manually.
By default it is good period. Switch will come, any switch with lower priority or lower MAC address will come up, right? They will
Ah,
send
yes,
their
yes.
BP.
BPD. Mm.
नो सर, सर कन्वर्जेंस टाइम आई थिंक इसमें 2 सेकंड्स होता है राइट, MST में सबसे फास्टेस्ट सर। गार्ड हो गया, लूप गार्ड हो गया, रूट गार्ड हो गया, BPD फिल्टर, एरर डिसेबल वाला इसी में।
So
पोर्ट फास्ट कह रहे थे।
first तो convergence reduce.
हम्म।
These are the security feature protection. So first of all, let's understand the issue. Here, let's say I have three. One, switch two, switch three. One is my root bit. Port is D. RP. Why switch one is my root bit? Lower MAC address. So A, so B. By the way, in the production, you will never leave action on lower MAC address, right? You will configure the lower priority. What will happen if any attacker is going to connect their device here? Right? If anyone is going to connect one switch to switch number 3, let's say, and they have configured priority 0.
सर ये रूट ब्रिज बनने की कोशिश करेगा फिर।
बन जाएगा कोशिश। Attacker. If this attacker is going to configure priority 0, And if you are thinking that attacker need to connect switch, so bro, to send BPDU, they can install application as well in the laptop, desktop, through which it can generate the best BPDU. If this attacker is going to configure priority 0 over here, then what will happen? Then this switch is going to send superior BPDU. This is superior BPDU, best BPDU. Am I right?
Yes.
Superior BPDU. On switch 3 will receive superior BPDU on this interface. This port will become what? RP.
RP,
This port will become what?
DP,
And this port of root B switches become what? RP.
RP.
Right? Now my topology is changed according to the attacker switch.
Correct.
Now anyone can. How to protect my root bridge? Protect your root bridge, you can enable root guard feature. Root guard feature is used to protect root bridge. What will happen? See, by default, this port, this RP port of switch number 3 will be DP. If it is connected to any other switch, this port should be DP, not RP. Like all ports of root B switch is what? DP. From where it is transmitting the BPDU. Actually, root guard feature is used to protect the DP port only. On the DP port, you will never expect BPDU, best BPDU. Getting my point? Because what is the definition of DP? Used to transmit the superior BPDU.
Higher BPDU. Yeah.
If switch is receiving superior BPDU on the DP port, that means there is some issue. That means it is not the BPDU of root breeze. Another switch is trying to become root breeze. So that's why we are going to enable root guard feature on DP port. Root guard feature should be enabled on all DP trunk port to protect root breach. Let's say here on switch number 2, here is my user. So this port will be what? DP port. Switch 2 is not expecting any BPDU on this interface. It should not receive BPDU. If this client machine is going to send any BPDU, doesn't mean it is superior or not. Switch 2 will put the port in error disable mode if the root guard feature is. What will happen? Switch will put the port in root inconsistent state, which is similar like shutdown interface. Root inconsistent state.
Sir, again, explain it.
What I am
The
saying,
other scenario.
whenever switch will receive BPDU on root guard enable interface, it will put that port in root inconsistent state.
Sir, but just now we have, in first point, we have said that on root switch only, on DP ports only, we will be enabling root guard, right?
On all the DP ports.
All the DP ports, correct. So how come we are doing it on access port as well?
Just I am telling you that let's say this is the DP, and if this PC is going to send superior BPDU over here, so if switch 2 will receive BPDU on this DP port, it will put the port in root inconsistent. On the DP port, on all the DP ports.
Which usually we do root bridge as root
Mainly
guard.
to
we
protect
enable.
root bridge only, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Mainly I don't want that root bridge switch should receive superior BPDU. So root guard enable interface will put the port in root inconsistent state if it will receive BPDU, not superior BPDU, any BPDU.
So on user port as well, we will be enabling it.
On the user port, it's not required,
Okay.
right? On all the switches, you can enable it globally, not on the any. That is the best practice. For an example here, I am going to turn off. say this one. I'm going to connect one more switch. Attacker. The attacker is going to configure priority 0 on their port. What will happen? First of all, let me turn on the device. One. Which will be my root bridge here.
100, switch one.
Which one? My root bridge. Here all ports is going to be what? Config T interface 0/2 shutdown. I am going to down this in 0/2. And so spanning tree. Here both the interfaces are DP and this switch is the root bridge. On the attacker switch, I am going to configure priority. Spanning tree for VLAN 1 priority 0. Now if switch 1 root bridge T0/2 interface will come up, what will happen? 0/2 come up, no shutdown. Then root bridge is going to be attacker. On any switch you can verify it. Let's say on switch number 3. On switch number 3, enable and show a spanning tree. This is root bridge information or
Summary.
ID.
Address, yes. अब दोनों दिखा।
So this is root bridge information and this is the MAC address of local switch. This is bridge ID information, this is ID information. But on the root bridge switch, if this port will come up, so a spanning tree. Now this port here 0/2 will become RP. 0/2 is RP. Now it is in listening state. That means attacker is going to become root bridge, learning state. Now you can see this switch is not root. Now root bridge address is this one. Here bridge ID is this one. On switch number 3 also you can verify. Now you can see the root bridge ID is this one, different. Right? On switch number 1. Done. Now again I am going to down this interface. Interface is 0/2. Say shut down. Again switch 1 will become root bridge. So spanning, here all ports are P and this switch is the, and this time I am going to enable the feature. Which feature? That spanning tree. Dot spanning tree for VLAN 1.
Now question mark, sir. सर इंटरफेस पे होगा सर। गार्ड रूट।
That route. And now let me say, shut down to this port and then show a spanning tree. Now you can see this port is in root inconsistent state because it have received superior VP here. Right, so still which switch is root bridge now?
One only.
Number 3. So this way we can protect the so where you will enable it, you will enable it on all the DP port designated. 1 minute.
Sir, but
One minute.
Mhm. सर माय क्वेश्चन वाज दैट कि अभी हमें ये कैसे पता लगेगा कि अटैकर कौन से पोर्ट पे करेगा कनेक्ट, राइट? तो ग्लोबल में ही कमांड होनी नहीं चाहिए, राइट? मतलब करेक्टली तो
सारे डीपी पोर्ट पे आपको इनेबल करना है तो
नहीं, तो कोई पोर्ट सर कोई मान लीजिए डाउन पड़ा हुआ है, राइट? नथिंग इज कनेक्टेड ऑन दैट, या तो एडमिन डाउन हो, दैट इज डिफरेंट थिंग। अदरवाइज डाउन ही स्टेट में है एंड यूजर किसी भी पोर्ट पे आके कनेक्ट कर ले, अननोन यूजर, देन उस केस में होएगा ना।
इसमें भी हम यहाँ पे इस भी इंटरफेस पे इनेबल कर देंगे। तो अगर यूजर बीपीडीयू भेजेगा तो ये पोर्ट चलेगा, रूट इनकंसिस्टेंट।
सर 50 पोर्ट है रूट स्विच के, तो सर 50 के 50 पे करना इट इज अ बिग टास्क, राइट?
व्हाई इंटरफेस
रेंज करके कर सकते हैं, रेंज करके कर सकते हैं, आई नो, बट ग्लोबल में कमांड नहीं होना चाहिए सर, लाइक यू वर सेइंग प्रीवियसली।
वो होगा तो देखना पड़ेगा, अभी तो मुझे नहीं पता यहाँ पे नहीं।
सर एक बार स्पैनिंग ट्री में सर एक बार ग्लोबल में ही जाना सर, स्पैनिंग ट्री गार्ड रूट
पे चला तो रूट गार्ड enable interface will not receive. If the BPDU, it will put the port in root inconsistent. Now ये port recover कैसे करेगा? So spanning how this port will recover, do so interface status so /2 na? Here nothing is showing. In the spelling protocol only we are able to see the port is in. If I am going to stop the BPDU on this port, I will down the attacker switch 0/0 shutdown. Then what will happen? When the BPDU will expire, guys?
So 20 seconds के बाद
20 seconds. After 20 seconds, this port will, or you can shut the port and then no shut the port. Now you can see it automatically cover it state and it will come in learning state, then forwarding state. Here, root guard.
Sir, that From a taker side, how your Phoenix completed this priority zero command
What, bro?
from
Sir,
E00 from a taker side, how you achieve that means priority command.
Here
Okay,
is the
priority.
here is the priority. Another feature is loop guard. When it is used to avoid the loop, here with their name, loop guard. Anyone tell me? If switch 3 is not going to receive BPDU on their RP port, let's say because of any reason, congestion, or let's say the TX pin of this port is not working, so it will not send BPDU from here, but RX port is still working. RX line is working, TX line is not working. So in that case, what will happen? Switch 1 is sending BPDU to switch 2 here. Switch 2 will relay that BPDU to switch 3, and switch 3 will relay that BPDU to switch number 1. Relay that back to switch 1, yes or no? And here root bridge is receiving their on BPDU. This is what? BPDU loop. Am I right?
Yes.
एक बार दोबारा सर रिपीट.
Switch 1 is sending BPDU to switch 2 is sending to switch 3, and switch 3 is sending to switch 1, because switch 3 is not receiving any BPDU from switch 1.
That is loop.
To avoid this issue, we have what? Loop guard. So first of all, where you will enable loop guard, you will enable loop guard on all the RP port, because you know RP port is used to receive the BPDU, not to transmit the,
Reproduce.
right? So I don't want that any switch should forward BPDU from RP port. If loop guard is enabled on RP port, and then if switch is sending BPDU from there, then again switch will put that port in inconsistent.
कि अगर आरपी पोर्ट फिर भी बीपीडीयू भेज रहा है डीपी को, तो इट विल बी इनकंसिस्टेंट.
So one, this feature is used to protect root bridge, right? Just to avoid BPDU on DP port, and this port is to avoid the BPDU from RP port. So now remember the actual definition of DP and RP. So now after enabling these features, DP port will only transmit the BPDU and RP port will only receive the BPDU. If DP port will receive the BPDU, then switch will put the port in consistent state, or if RP port will send the BPDU, then switch will put the port in consistent. Yeah. What is the command?
Sir, please repeat this point.
Loop guard.
Yes.
Loop guard is used to prevent to transmission from RP port, because we know RP port is to receive the BPDU, not to transmit. So if you will enable the loop guard on RP port, then RP port will not send BPDU. If RP port will transmit the BPDU, then STB will put that port in to avoid the command is going to be what? Command is going to be a span.
Loop guard loop.
loop guard.
Loop guard. Sir, this is applicable for all the VLANs, matlab, not specific to any VLAN, right?
Here we are
कि
selecting the
हमने
VLAN, then only for all
because
the
because root guard we have enabled it for only VLAN one only. दिखाना है possible.
scanning.
Okay, this is then applicable to all the VLANs. Okay.
Filter this will also the same thing. Going to see
Loop guard. So space नहीं है. सर हम इंटरफेस में है तो सही.
scanning tree. And
Incomplete.
scanning tree. Guard command. Filter is
Filter
there.
is there.
Filter. So if you
So
are using this
the-
command, then on the interface, and probably you can run this.
So BPD filter also same work as loop guard.
There are two ways to configure.
And so recovery mode is same only.
Yeah,
Should
recovery
not
mode
it?
is same. Exactly same.
Okay.
The next feature is queue guard. Queue guard is very famous. One have idea for which port it is?
सर वो alternative बचा.
Alternate को पूछ
ERP access port. User port को we can say, right?
तो आप बोल रहे थे पहले
Mhm.
root guard. Should we enable root guard on the access ports? So now answer is no. Root guard is generally used for root bridge switch. To protect root bridge, you will only enable on root bridge. For the access port, you will enable what? PPD guard for the
PPDU
same
guard.
task. For the same task, so that it should not receive. Okay, so let's suppose here I have one user on the access port. This user, if this user will send BP, what will happen? Then again, port will become RP port.
RP.
But I don't want that. I know that this port is the access port for user only. Always and always we will connect user here. So we'll enable BPU guard here. And one switch will receive BPDU on BPDU guard enable interface switch will put the port in error disable mode. Error disable. Anytime you will see this kinds of, because see, by mistaken, if you are going to enable loop guard on the trunk port, guys, if I am going to enable it on this DP port, then what will happen? When RP port will goes down, switch 2 will receive superior BPDU from switch 3, it will put the port in error
But
disable.
it will not accept basically.
Will put the port in error disable then.
Mm-hmm.
For an example, this is my loop-free topology. Okay, this port is alternate port. So whenever this link will goes down, I want this path. This should be inactive state then. That's why I
Yes.
have added the redundancy. But if by mistake, if you will enable put guard feature over here, then this link will never come in forwarding state. Because on switch will receive BPD over here, it will put the port in error disable. That is the very carefully you need to enable it on access port where you are going to connect the users. Put guard on the root bridge switch. BPD guard on all the access ports. Even on the root bridge switch, if I have some access ports, so those ports should have this feature enabled.
And so loop guard can be done on when the switches are up, right? मतलब जब एक बार election हो चुका हो, right?
हाँ बिल्कुल,
Then in
पहले भी
that
रन
case
कर
only.
सकते, बाद में भी आरपी पोर्ट से कभी डीपी आएगा ही नहीं ना.
Mm-hmm.
जब फर्स्ट टाइम भी आप आएगा स्विच 1 स्विच का पोर्ट तो आरपी.
Sir, sir, let's take an example. If suppose this link between switch 1 and switch 2 goes down, correct?
Okay.
And switch 2 will be receiving higher BPD from switch 3, right? So it would be RP port,
Yes.
correct? तो सर अब आई एम कंफ्यूज्ड कि इसको रूट गार्ड लगाऊं कि लूप गार्ड लगाऊं, बिकॉज करंटली अभी एज पर एग्जिस्टिंग टोपोलॉजी इट इज डीपी, राइट? बट इन दैट फेलोवर केस इट वुड बी आरपी, करेक्ट?
Okay. Correct.
सो सर एंड आई हैव रेड कि दोनों चीजें एक साथ नहीं लगाई जा सकती हैं, दैट इज आल्सो करेक्ट.
Yes.
तो सर व्हाट इज द सॉल्यूशन?
Solution is loop guard. Only loop guard.
नहीं, बट इन द फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट वी हैव ऑलरेडी सेड कि डीपी पोर्ट्स पे सब पे हम लोग रूट गार्ड लगाएंगे, राइट?
डीपी पोर्ट पे रूट ब्रिज के डीपी पोर्ट पे हम रूट
सिर्फ
गार्ड लगाएंगे.
स्पेसिफिक, ओके, वो मतलब रूट ब्रिज के स्पेसिफिक ही है दैट रूट
हाँ
गार्ड.
हाँ बिल्कुल.
ओके,
इस पोर्ट पे कुछ नहीं
ठीक.
लगाना है आपको. So till now what we have seen that on all the ports of, on all the DP trunk ports of root bridge we will enable root guard. On all the non-root bridge RP port will enable loop guard, and on all the access port we will enable video guard. This is for root bridge only.
ओके,
Root means
गॉट
root.
इट, गॉट इट.
Okay. Port कहाँ गया? Port is on in error disable mode. So to verify it, what we can do here? I can do one thing.
मेक इट ट्रंक, अटैकर पोर्ट को ट्रंक बना दीजिए सर, एंड देन कैन एनेबल इट विदाउट डिस्टर्बिंग द एग्जिस्टिंग टोपोलॉजी.
Trunk you access ना.
अच्छा हाँ, सॉरी, इसमें एक्सेस.
Config tree interface is /2 switch port mode access, and on the attacker I had added one command.
प्रायोरिटी वाली.
No spanning tree. One priority. Okay, no shutdown. 0/2 is 0/2 is the port. Now I am going to enable which feature here? BPDU card. Command is going to interface is 0/2 a spanning tree. Card. Same command. This is also no that was BPDU guard. And after this I am going to do one thing. Let me configure the priority 0 again on the attacker switch so that attacker will share their own BP. So let me remove no from here and let me take you to switch 1. 2, so spanning tree. Here all ports are DP only. Anything happening, guys?
No change in topology.
No change. But if I will remove this command,
And sir, re-enable it.
port is
सर हमने स्विच 1 पे चला दी सर ये कमांड नहीं तो प्रायोरिटी वाली कमांड तो अपने को वहां पे चलानी पड़ेगी ना अटैकर पे
प्रायोरिटी वाली तो अटैकर पे 2, so spanning.
सर वो 20 सेकंड्स हो चुके हैं
2, so run interface multiple feature यहाँ पे पहले से यहाँ पे port guard, because earlier I was assuming that their ports are connected to other switches attacker. Now I am making this, I have made this port access port. Now root guard feature is not required here. Now do so spanning tree. This is my that means interface is 0/2 shutdown. So face status
अब आ गया होगा एक बार अटैकर का इंटरफेस शट डाउन है अब आएगा
0/2 is
RP now
again I am going to set this port
enable the BPD guard
and I will enable the BP guard now for 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Come.
सर बनी गया है उसे
अब बना है. Now I am going to enable guard.
हाँ यही थी इस पे नो लगा हुआ हाँ यस
Okay. Now I am going to enable this no. So spanning tree. So 0/2 interface is gone from here, from the STP. So you will check status, do so interface status. The status is error disable. Why this port is in error disable? Because BPDU guard feature is enabled. This port is the access port and this is being clear BPD. to know the reason one of the error disable, so interface status error disable. So here you can see 0/2 is in error disable, status is error disable, and reason is what? What is the reason of error disable? 2.
BPD guard.
So how to recover this port now?
Shut no shut.
Shut no shut. Interface is 0/2 shut. Till error disable, because it is receiving, again it is receiving BPD.
Higher BPD. Yeah.
So now go to attacker switch and I am going to shut the port. Now it will not, but this time switch will not recover the port automatic. After 20 seconds the port will not recover automatic. Okay.
शट नो शट अब देना पड़ेगा E0/2.
Error disable. Right. So to recover it, we can cut and no shut. Interface is just shut down. Now it's, and the last feature is PPDU filter. You can learn
Sir, I
it
have a
by
question. Sir, I have a
yourself.
question. BPD फिल्टर तो सर उसी में आ गया आरपी वाले में, राइट?
हाँ तो काफी तो बता दिया हूँ.
हाँ हाँ. BPD गार्ड वाला
नहीं,
सर
इसका अलग है
कई
the concept. It is used to
अच्छा
stop
अलग है.
BPDU from access port. Like you know, switch 2 will be sending BPDU after every 2 seconds from here also. Like passive interface in the routing, if you remember. Similar like that. To stop the BPDU from access port, we can enable BPDU filter is used to filter the BPDU. And where we need to filter the BPDU? On the access port only, where users are connected. So after enabling these all features, now your STP is protected. So you have to enable these all features as well after configuring STP. By default, STP is already enabled, but what you need to configure, you need to manipulate the path, you need to configure root width accordingly. Right? You need to change the spanning tree type, you need to enable port fast, and you need to enable these all features.
सर एक क्वेश्चन था ड्यूरिंग ट्रबल शूटिंग ना जब एफई वगैरह जाता है जस्ट टू चेक कि दैट केबल विच इज देयर कनेक्टेड ऑन सम पोर्ट तो सर उस केस में भी बीपीडीयू गार्ड होता है इनेबल
एक्सेस
तो
पोर्ट
सर
पे
ये
होता होगा बस.
हाँ हो तो हाँ तो वो सर एरर डिसेबल में चले जाता है सर फिर
हाँ, बिल्कुल.
दैट इज द सॉल्यूशन कि बीपीडीयू गार्ड हटा दो हैं
नहीं बीपीडीयू गार्ड वो नहीं है सोल्यूशन. आप ये देखिए कि वहाँ पे बीपीडीयू रिसीव क्यों हो रहा है, कहीं से लूप बन रहा है, क्या हो रहा है.
सर पर यूजर तो सर अपना लैपटॉप ही कनेक्ट कर रहा है नथिंग एल्स ही इज कनेक्टिंग राइट.
अच्छा तो लैपटॉप से बीपीडीयू आता है.
सब एरर डिसेबल में चले जाता है सर वो पोर्ट. मान लो हमने टेस्टिंग पर्पस के लिए कोई और पोर्ट बिकॉज टू डिक्लेयर दैट पोर्ट जो अभी करंट में चल रहा है इट इज फॉल्टी हम दूसरे पे सेम केबल अनसेट करके लगाते हैं राइट.
कभी कभी
तो
क्या होती है, मान लीजिए ये आपका पीसी, मेरे फ्रेंड का पीसी, ऐसे ये भी कनेक्टेड है. आप दोनों सेम सबनेट में वायरलेसली में भी कनेक्ट, जैसे भी या अगर बीपीडी यहाँ से स्विच से आके एक पीसी पे और यहाँ से यहाँ आके फिर यहाँ से ऐसे आएगा तभी ये चीज़ हो. ऐसा जो आपका
मतलब एक तरफ वायर्ड से हो गया, एक तरफ वायरलेस से हो गया। इन
कैसे
दैट
भी
केस वी आर सेइंग
बीपीडीयू घूम के तो रिसीव हो रहा है आपके एक्सेस पोर्ट, कैसे भी आ रहा है।
बिकॉज दैट इज 100% श्योर कि वो स्विच नहीं लगा रहा है, हम तो ये श्योर हैं, राइट?
बिल्कुल
तो और ना प्रायोरिटी 0 लगा के कोई कमांड कॉन्फ़िगर कर रहा है वो। बट हाँ, ये वाला केस हो सकता है कि एक तरफ वो वायरलेस से रिसीव कर रहा हो
और वो बीपीडीयू लूप
और
में आके एक्सेस पोर्ट
ओके, ठीक
एक्सेस पोर्ट पे अगर बीपीडीयू होगा तो पोर्ट मेरा डिसेबल मोड में ही
है, जाएगा। गॉट इट।
पर एक क्या था पता है, कंपनी क्या बोलता था, मैं
हम्म
लैपटॉप को ना जब वाईफाई से कनेक्ट करता हूँ
टाइम तो हो गया सर, लेकिन बताइए प्लीज।
जब वाईफाई से कनेक्ट करता हूँ ना तो इंटरनेट और मैं रिमोट साइट सबको एक्सेस कर पाता हूँ वाईफाई राउटर से।
राइट।
वहीं पे हम लोगों के पास दूसरा इंटरनेट कनेक्शन है स्विच पे, तो अगर मैं यहाँ पे इथरनेट केबल कनेक्ट कर देता हूँ ना तो मेरी सारी कनेक्टिविटी लॉस हो जाती है। मतलब
ओके,
इंटरनेट पे रीच करने का दो साइड्स है, सर्विस प्रोवाइडर पे दो ऑप्शन है, वायरलेसली भी जा सकता है, वायर्ड भी जा सकता है।
करेक्ट।
तो जब वो वायर कनेक्ट करता है तो वायरलेस तो कनेक्टेड है लेकिन एक्सेस खत्म, एक्सेस गया। तो क्या प्रॉब्लम, और बोल रहा था कि बहुत टाइम से पड़े, ऐसा क्यों हो?
अपनी लैब में ही हुआ सर, अपनी लैब में ही शायद किसी ने मेंशन किया था।
अपने लैब का ही बात है क्या? हो
हाँ,
सकता
अभी
है।
जस्ट थोड़े दिन पहले जब स्पेनिंग ट्री वी वर डिस्कसिंग तो
हाँ
किसी ने
मुझे
कहा था।
याद है। तो ऐसे ऐसे इशू ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? आप लोग सोच के बताना, बताऊंगा।
ठीक है सर, कल डिस्कस करेंगे।
Otherwise, tomorrow I will start which protocol? Tomorrow I will start Ether channel, okay?
ओके।
Ether
और
channel.
सर नेक्सस स्विचेस पे इसको कुछ और टर्म कहते हैं ना, इथर चैनल को?
नेक्सस स्विच में थोड़ा सा सिनारियो अलग होता है, किसको कुछ और चीज बोलते हैं?
ये इथर चैनल को पोर्ट नहीं, पोर्ट चैनल इज आल्सो सेम थिंग ओवर हियर, इथर चैनल को ही पोर्ट चैनल बोलते हैं, बट
VSS.
नेक्सस स्विचेस पे सर वीएसएस बोलते हैं। व्हाट
MLAG, I think.
वीपीसी बोलते हैं।
VSS तो कैटलिस्ट में होता है ना।
बात कर रहे हैं।
हाँ हाँ, वीपीसी।